Welcome home, horror fans. My name's Adam.
And I'm Zoe.
And Blumhouse has acquired the rights to the Saw franchise.
You heard it here first. Twisted Pictures is out and Blumhouse is in.
No! Game over.
This is massive, world-shaking news in the Saw fandom.
Groundbreaking.
Very, very big deal. So we've dropped all our plans. We've cancelled our plans to make this video as soon as possible, and we're pumping it out. It's a huge deal. You have to stick with us because there's a lot to go through. We're going to talk about officially what's been announced, who's in, who's out, what does this mean for the next Saw movie. Let's start with, obviously, the report, which is from Deadline, in a deal that will bring James Wan back in touch with the mega horror IP he created. We hear from several sources that Blumhouse is acquiring the prospective rights to Twisted Pictures' portion of the Saw franchise. In short, Blumhouse essentially is taking over the IP's ownership from Twisted's Mark Berg and Oren Coules. Lionsgate will continue to be involved as a partner and, in fact, owns 50% of the franchise.
So there's a lot to break apart there.
A lot.
It's interesting that a lot of news sources are seeming to connect the Blumhouse move or the Blumhouse takeover to James Wan.
Yes, this is obviously very interesting. James Wan, who he has the production company Atomic Monster, who has merged with Blumhouse or is in the fold. So this article is assuming that James Wan now is going to be possibly involved or in control of the Saw franchise. We had to see really how much that's confirmed or how involved he's going to be. James Wan being, of course, the original director of Saw 1 and co-creator of the Saw franchise.
I mean, from what I've looked into, it doesn't seem to be official. It seems like a lot of speculation. And along with that speculation, we do have some keen-eyed fans and viewers talking about the fact that Leigh Whannell also works with Blumhouse very closely.
Correct, yes. Leigh Whannell, of course, who plays Adam, also the other co-creator of Saw and writer of Saw 1, does work for Blumhouse. Now, he has worked with Blumhouse for a couple of movies. Most notably, recently, he released Wolfman.
Yeah, where we got to meet him.
We did get to meet him. And yes, he's worked with Blumhouse a number of times. So now you've got Blumhouse owning the rights to the Saw franchise and working with Leigh Whannell and James Wan, the original creators. There's a lot of rumors that these guys are going to be back into the franchise making the movies again. Part of that rumor comes from Leigh Whannell's tweet or post on Blue Sky, a different social platform, not Twitter, in which he states, "I'm not posting here much, but I'm writing a new script. So look at it as an achievement in procrastination avoidance. Sending love and hugs." Now, this was only posted a few short days ago, 5 days as time of reading. So a lot of speculation that he possibly might be working on the new script for Saw's sequel.
It's a possibility.
It's a big possibility.
I think that Leigh Whannell returning to write the film is more likely than James Wan returning to direct the film.
I believe so as well.
But we'll have to see how it unfolds. I have a feeling that we'll get some information over the next coming months, and it'll be pretty quick that we'll find stuff
if Blumhouse owns the rights to the Saw franchise, or 50%, because keep in mind, they own 50%, Lionsgate keeps 50%, so it's a partnership here. And they also have Leigh Whannell in their back pocket, who they work with very closely. Are you not getting Leigh Whannell to work on the Saw franchise now that you've purchased it?
You'd think his name would be a part of it somehow.
I mean, does that not it's not the first thing you think about. You've got to like at least approach him and go, you know those Saw movies you made? Do you want to come and work with them again? Is that not a question?
I think it'd be something he'd be open to as well. I think that he's willing to take a lot of stuff or projects on that Blumhouse seem to throw at him. So for me, that's kind of best case scenario in my opinion. I would still love to see Kevin Grudett return to direct.
Yes.
And we see what was rumored to be planned.
The original plans.
The original plan.
Exactly. Best case scenario, everything stays as it was originally planned. It's the Saw 11 movie that we were supposed to get last year that they announced as a release date. Cecilia Peterson would be back. We'd see her finally get killed. That is best case scenario. And that is what we're still hoping for. We're hoping Kevin is still on board. They've got a script pretty much finished. And they work with that for the next movie. And that would be amazing.
It really would be.
Really phenomenal.
And to me, the groundwork is there. I if you bring back everything you've got, you bring back your foundation,
Yeah.
it's going to work whether it's Blumhouse, Lionsgate, who it is. It doesn't matter. That will work because you're bringing back what we know and love. The issue is when you start to address potential concerns or let's just say worst case scenarios that could possibly happen from this acquisition.
If we don't get what's already planned and what we're all hoping for, and really it was the two producers, Mark Berg and Oren Cools, who were stonewalling, or one of them was stonewalling this movie getting made. Now that they're out of the way, let's just go ahead with the plan. If we don't get that, what is the worst case scenario?
Worst case scenario is that they reboot the franchise.
Yeah, a reboot of the franchise. This is our biggest fear.
Yeah.
Coming to life, very possibly. We did talk about these rumors earlier about Blumhouse. And
what that could mean. And we're here, we're living in it now.
And that's all come true. And the fear of a reboot with new characters and a new universe where Saw is completely rewritten and starting again is definitely our worst case scenario.
It's worst case scenario, and it's scarier to think about than sitting down and watching any Saw film.
Yes, it's true.
Because we've seen it. They've tried to do it before. We've got Spiral. We've got Jigsaw. They did not work.
Yes.
Jigsaw even tried to include John Kramer in it, and it still didn't work.
Unfortunately, look, we did have one actual commenter earlier who said at least the film is not in the hands of Chris Rock. So thank you for that.
That's great.
But
that's
look,
gold.
it's there is a very real possibility that the worst case scenario is on the table. Obviously, Blumhouse have invested a lot of money purchasing the rights to this, and they could turn around and say, you know what, we want Saw to be a big franchise for the next 10 years. We want to bring on some younger people, some new characters where you don't feel like you have to watch 10 films or 20 years of movies to catch up. And we get a fully rebooted franchise with new people, which means no more John Kramer, or at least as we know him, no more Tobin Bell, no more Mark Hoffman. And this is really, really scary for us because how can you have a film without Tobin Bell?
Look, I'm going to say here, to me, I think that this is unlikely, at least for the next film. They know what fans want. I'm sure that they have the internet and that they've done their research on Saw.
And at least Lionsgate does as well.
Yeah, they've done their research on Saw, and I think they can see the plethora of comments about what happened to Hoffman, where's Hoffman, what'd he do? Or at least they've seen our videos and they hear it 24/7 anyway. But there are questions that need to be answered, and they know that this previous Saw movie, Saw X, brought a lot of people in who want to know more about that story. So I think that if they do plan on rebooting the franchise, which I'm not saying is off the cards, I can see them doing it. I just don't think it'll be the next film.
I think, look, if they want to reboot it, at least just give us an ending first and then reboot it.
That's what I can see happening. If not an ending to Saw 7, which would be Saw 12 originally planned, if not an ending to that, God, I hope they give us an ending to that. But I can see them scrapping that idea and just giving us a
Saw X sequel.
Yeah, Saw
a
X
Cecilia
sequel.
Peterson movie. Look, you know, the most exciting thing out of this is that we are moving ahead. We've got a new Saw movie coming, regardless of what it is. We have the original main three trio are all still alive and willing to work on this movie. We know they're on board. They want to be in it.
Yeah.
And we never got to see the three of them really work together.
No.
You know, they got that brief scene, but we really never did. And the excitement, the idea that we could have Hoffman and Amanda and Kramer working together in a film, and it's a very real possibility, has me very excited. I believe we'll get a Saw movie as early as next year.
Yeah.
I think that now that we've actually got a production company that really wants to move ahead and, you know, they want to make this movie as soon as possible, guaranteed. They put the investment in. I can see the movie coming out next year and I can see it giving us at least part of what we want with Tobin really returning while we've got him alive and ready to go. It's scary where the future does go, and I know people are very concerned, but I want to try and look at this optimistically. And I will say, when I read the news, unlike some people, I was incredibly happy. And I was actually really, really, really happy when I read the news.
I was incredibly distressed because we spoke about this. in videos prior to this where we said Blumhouse taking over is worst case scenario. And now we're here. We're living it. So, look, again, we can look over their filmography. They've got some utter garbage, but they do have films that they have put genuine thought into. Yeah. And I think that they've got a really, really great groundwork here to make something good. I think if you're continuing with the story, it's going to be pretty hard for them to mess it up.
Exactly, you know, and if anything, they might even invest a little bit more money than originally, you know, because like Saw X had a pretty low budget. I think it was about 10 million. I can see them turning around and actually pumping a good bit of money into this franchise, possibly.
Well, that makes money, so there's no reason why they wouldn't.
Exactly, it
Unless they do a reboot, because that'd be a gamble.
Yeah, look, it's scary. The reboot is scary, and I think that pretty much all you guys out there, the big Saw fans that are watching, I think we all agree that it's very scary, the idea of a reboot. We all know what we want. We want more Tobin Bell. We want more Joan Kramer. And if they want to reboot the story and literally start again with the same story, John Kramer's not recastable. You know, if they want to try and turn it around and start again with a new Jigsaw, with a new John Kramer, no one's filling those shoes. And that would be just like the death knell. It just seems like the worst possible idea that they could come up with.
Yeah.
So I can't see a world where they don't at least finish the current storyline and maybe then introduce some new characters to take this forward over the next 10, 20 years.
I completely agree, but stranger things have happened.
Well, look, I'm glad that you're relatively positive. I know when we first talked about it, and trust me, guys, we have been talking about this for a number of hours before shooting this video, and you know, there's a bit of back and forth between whether this is a good thing or whether this is a bad thing. So I can tell you positively.
You're getting the nice side right now.
You're getting the nice side. I've reared her in a little bit, but you know, at the end of the day, look, there are reasons to be concerned. I want to hold judgment until I hear more. As soon as they confirm that they're rebooting it, then I'll jump on the bandwagon and shit all over it, okay? Then I'm happy. Then I'll, like, if they turn around and go, reboot, #1, new John Kramer, I'll be like, what the is going on? Okay, but until then, let's all just be happy
that we're getting a new
Saw movie.
It's official.
It's definitely happening. We know that, you know, the people who own it now are very invested in making more movies. And that is super exciting because till then, we've been sitting around the last couple of years just getting delays, cancellations. It's like, where is the bloody franchise?
What's going on?
Yeah, and it's just been like, you know, Saw's been dead in the water up until now. This is breathing life into the franchise. So again, full optimism. And if we get good news, you'll be hearing it from us first, definitely. And if we hear bad news,
you'll also be hearing from us.
And you'll get a very different tone then. And then I'll let you go. I'll unleash the real Zoe that video when we get the bad news. Okay? But until then, guys, let's hear from you what you think of Blumhouse acquiring the rights to Saw. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Are you excited for more Saw? Let us know in the comments, guys. If you haven't subscribed also, please hit subscribe. It would help out a lot as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video.
See you next time, guys.
Game over.